Hello, in this video, I would like to talk about cerebral palsy and the benefits of videotaping yourself as they relate to improving your walking movements and your exercise. Now, having spastic CP, your movements are very rigid. They are somewhat uncontrolled and somewhat unpredictable. One of the major things that someone with CP suffers from is something called a scissoring gait. Now, this means that the legs have a tendency to try to cross with one another. This makes walking difficult. If you have a scissoring gait, you can walk relatively normally, but it's very difficult to concentrate on walking to a spot and then to also do so with proper form. Now, if someone were to videotape themselves walking, then they can see what their brain does not allow that person to perceive. Now, what do I mean by this? This means that generally someone with CP has a hard time having their brain communicate with their body. Generally, this communication pathway is lacking, which causes a lot of problems. Now, if you use a videotape, there is a likelihood that you can train your brain to better understand what your body is doing in different situations. What your body is doing when you try to walk, and what your body is doing when you exercise and try to learn new movements. If you can videotape yourself doing these things, walking and exercising, you can then use that education, that visualization, and you can utilize that when you go to perform that movement or that walk again. You can think to yourself, oh, this is the way that I should be approaching this movement. My brain tells me that I should be doing one thing, but the video tells me something different. So I should listen to the video because my brain has a tendency to want to trick me. Now, if you do videotape yourself exercising and walking, this is great. This could potentially be a very efficient and effective way to improve those things. If you do a motion or walk more normally, that reduces the risk of injury to you, which is always good. And it'll also cause you to be happier with your progress, in that it won't cause as much effort and hardship to see only little improvements. Because generally that's what happens. Generally, you have to work very hard and go through a lot of pain to see any small improvements when it comes to trying to improve physically with CP. Now, although I've talked about some of the positives in videotaping yourself, there are also some negatives that should be talked about before someone goes and videotapes their exercise or walking pattern. One of the things I realized in videotaping my exercise and walking pattern is that the way you see yourself physically in your mind and the way you actually are in reality are different. And this difference can be somewhat striking and depressing. For you to have one view of yourself in your mind, of how you physically look to other people, and then to see how you actually look to other people, it can be quite depressing. Now, although this may be striking at first, I do believe that this exposure is a good thing. It is always best to more fully understand how you are seen in the world. If you can come to terms with how you are seen, both by yourself and by other people, there is a potential that this will make you a more self-confident person, in that you will know the true nature of how you, so to speak, stand in the world. You will no longer have only a partial image of yourself. You will see the full picture. And in seeing this full picture, you will become a more complete person. Now, this video was all-encompassing. It covered the practical nature of videotaping yourself, producing better exercise quality, and it also provided a philosophical framework as to the nature of what videotaping yourself can provide. I hope this overarching view gives you a much greater understanding of the importance videotaping yourself can have on somebody with severe cerebral palsy.